2014 wasn't the best year for collecting cars, but I feel like Emmanuel here was one of the highlights of the year. He was the first ever tour bus Mattel had released, so it was pretty exciting to get him. He was also in a very interesting series for the year called Paris Tour that included a lot of new cars. So let's get on with today's suggestion video. This was suggested to me by Kyle Schreckengost. I really hope I pronounced your name correctly. I'm sorry if I did not. If I didn't, please let me know how to do so correctly. Now, if you'd like to make a suggestion or birthday request of your own, the information on how to do so is in the description below. My introduction back into suggestions is currently in the process of being made. It'll be out very, very soon, so please watch that, and it'll be a nice tutorial for how you can suggest cars and planes. And now, let's get on with the review here of Emmanuel. Now, like I said, he was released in the 2014 Paris Tour series. From what I remember, he was released relatively early on in the year, and I believe I found him at Kmart when Kmart actually had new cars. Nowadays, they barely have any new cars except for the neon racers that were reissued last year. It's kind of hard to see what's on the back here, so I'll put a picture of it. Now let's move on to the diecast himself. Now, from this angle, doesn't he kind of look like a puppy dog? I mean, the side view mirrors here would be like the ears, and like obviously his face would be like the dog's face. I mean, it reminds me of a puppy dog so much. I don't know if I'm being silly, but that's just what it reminds me of. And now Emmanuel obviously appeared in Paris, but the exact scene he appeared in was when McQueen, not McQueen, what am I talking about? Mater, Holly, and Finn were trying to make a right turn, and a lot of traffic was going by, so it was difficult for Mater especially to make that turn, and Emmanuel was toward the right of Mater. And now I assume he's very mad. I mean, not very mad, but he obviously looks pretty mad, and it's probably because Mater's really taking his time making that turn there, or he's just cranky about his job. I don't really know, but the diecast here really accurately represents his expression in the movie, and I always like when Mattel does that. I was talking about that on my Outback Miles review, so another point toward Mattel on making this expression very, very accurate. Now on the front here, we have some sort of logo. I assume it's the brand of the bus, which I'm not aware of. There are a lot of different brands of buses, so I'm not really sure. Obviously, he does have these side view mirrors here that hang out in front. On the side here, we see some pretty cool decals. Parisian car tours, 2-day passes. Then we've got a kind of no sign. Not really sure what that's for. Maybe it's kind of like a stay away from that area. Not really sure. Over here we have all of Paris Parisian tours in English. So I'm kind of surprised actually. Well, I guess this caters more toward the English residents, not residents, tourists that visit Paris, because nothing really on this tour bus is in, there's nothing on this tour bus that's in French. So I guess it definitely is for those English, anybody who speaks English visitors to Paris, because it doesn't have any French on here, which is kind of surprising though. You'd think international tour buses would have both languages, probably more English, but still a little bit of French. Now I can definitely relate to this bus because I was just on vacation and I was on a few buses, especially when I went to the Grand Canyon, and it's very like this. I mean, very, very similar. You get on a bus and you take a tour around the Grand Canyon, or in this case, all of Paris. On the back here, he does have a code 2463. Looks like some vents right here, which may be why they have that no sign right there, because you want to stay away from those vents. Might be expelling some sort of noxious gas. Probably not too noxious, but you probably don't want to get near it. On the back here, he does have an international license plate, which reads 75R1T212A. He's got several taillights on the back here, another vent, a back window. Now keep note of this back window, we'll go back to that. The decals on this side are exactly the same as the other side, so no reason checking that out. here's the base for anyone who's interested. I've started showing the bases in my videos lately just because why not? Might as well review the entire car, all 6 sides of it. Now, there were a few more tour buses released after Emmanuel that actually came just last year in 2015. The first one being Trudy Trailway. Now, these are actually different models. Now, obviously you can see that the side view mirrors are a little bit different. Unfortunately, Trudy here does not look like a puppy dog anymore, but that's not the difference because this doesn't classify it as a entirely new casting because it just pops into the plastic window there. So they could really change up this plastic piece anywhere. I'm referring to the metal body. And the difference where that comes in is in the back window here. They filled it in. Now, I've heard this happening a lot with Hot Wheels cars. For example, they have some Hot Wheels have like a spoiler, a wing in the back, and it used to be like a separate plastic part that attached itself to the metal body, and now a lot of those castings are turning the spoilers into a metal as well. So the body and the spoiler is one metal piece. It's not 2 separate pieces anymore. Now I feel like that's the same case with these tour buses here. Instead of making this plastic here and having it kind of an extra detail with that different design there, they just filled it in with metal, and I do believe this is cheaper than doing the plastic insert there because it's just, you know, easier to do when you're making them, I guess. One solid piece versus then popping in the plastic piece up here. That's what I've heard from some YouTube videos and some online sources as well. I may be entirely wrong here, but other than that back window, the models are exactly the same. As you can see, 3 wheels on each side. Not the same decals, obviously. Trudy is doing tours of Piston Peak National Park. Emmanuel is doing tours for Paris. Now, after Trudy was released, then Linus Lines was also released, and now Linus is the exact same model as Trudy. No difference at all. They basically are inverted colors. As you can see, Trudy has more green than white, and with Linus it's vice versa. Different decals on the side though. Now, there actually were supposed to be 2 more of these tour buses being released from Piston Peak, one being Chris Compass and the other one being Valerie Vistaview, I believe that was her last name, and unfortunately those have not been released yet. I really do hope at least one of them gets released. So that's really all for Emmanuel and the 2 other tour buses that Mattel has released in the past. Now, just an FYI, those tour buses I just showed right here, Trudy and Linus, are from the Planes line. They did not appear in either of the Cars movies. So that is all for my review of Emmanuel. I hope you enjoyed the video, Kyle Schreckengost, and all of you other viewers as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on Saturday for another video. I'm probably going to review the new Toys R Us Radiator Springs Classic Radiator Springs Cleanup 5-pack. It has some pretty cool cars in it, such as a new Ramon and a pretty awesome Guido as well. So I'll see you guys then. Hope you enjoy. Bye now.